Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a great show this evening. And do not count Kanye West out for 2024. Kanye West can become president of the United States of America. I'm telling you, he can become president of the United States of America if he runs as a Republican and is able to communicate a platform, a message that resonates to conservatives, to independents, and to perhaps liberals that have had enough, or progressives that have had enough of the Democratic Party. The polls are dreadfully wrong. They're dreadfully off. They're just as bad, if not, they're actually worse than in 2016 when they said Clinton could win Texas, and when they said Trump wouldn't even be GOP nominee. I have no idea why the smartest people in the room are setting themselves up for failure again. President Trump is going to win in 2020. He's not going against Hillary Clinton. He's not going against Biden. He's going to defeat Hillary Clinton. She's the only chance they have. Not a fan, but she has the gravitas. She has the network of Democrats throughout the country. Florida Democrats wrote a scathing letter the other day regarding Biden's campaign trying to suppress the Hispanic and Latino vote. Does that make any sense at all? There's two ballots. There's two votes. One is the pledged delegates and one's the super delegates in the Democratic convention. The whole thing's a rigged charade, a racket anyway. But Hillary Clinton is literally the only chance they have. They would get obliterated with Biden, especially in the debates. Could you imagine Trump eating him up alive? But to my super chat, thank you so very much. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, thank you for being amazing moderators and for keeping the chat always abiding by YouTube guidelines. I have the best chat in all of YouTube in the evening. I'm going to see how this live stream does. I might just make it a lot longer instead of just the two consecutive live streams. I might make a longer one like last night. It was pretty fun. But ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a great story. Kanye West is getting on the Missouri ballot. He got on the Illinois ballot. He got on the Oklahoma ballot. He's going to look to New York very soon, and hopefully very soon California. But here, New York Post, and to my super chat, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You allow me to do these, and it's pretty awesome. Being able to do these live streams and have the super chat just allow me to be an independent voice. I just want to thank you. Your support means a great deal to me in Patreon and also in my super chat. People, do not count Kanye West out. If he builds a base of support, he'll get more than the 4.5 million votes that Gary Johnson got. Does anybody know who Gary Johnson is of the Libertarian Party? Does anybody really care? He got 4.5 million votes. He got 4.5 million votes, ladies and gentlemen. That took the popular vote away. That took the popular vote away from President Trump. If you add Jill Stein to Clinton and you add Gary Johnson's libertarian voters to President Trump, Trump gets the popular vote. He got outspent 2-1. The polls are dreadfully wrong. They are not indicative. They don't reflect reality. The polls do not reflect reality. They try to fabricate reality. Their public relations press releases. Just today in The Hill, yet again, Trump wins in terms of voter enthusiasm. How is that possible if he's the worst president of all time? How does he win in terms of voter enthusiasm? I don't care what people think of Trump's response to anything. They say, well, his response to the pandemic has been atrocious. Well, the apoplectic media response is one of the big reasons. You can't look at polls and say, my second nephew, thank you very, very much. My second nephew, thank you. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. My second nephew, thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. You can't look at polls and say, oh, well, I like Biden's personality. I like Biden's message. I like Biden's policies. I like his charisma. I like his track record. They're all horrible. His track record in Libya, during the Bush years, voting alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. And Trump makes a great point. He's been in politics for over 40 years, around 40 years. He's complaining about the things that he could have or should have addressed and fixed. So the whole thing is a racket. Christopher! Protests hurting Dems badly. Exactly. Right now, Portland. Yes, very bad. D. Lynn. Thank you, D. Lynn. As always, thank you. I agree with you, Christopher. Yes. I agree with you. These are, okay, every single video or news report, Christopher and my second nephew and D-Lynn, every single news report that shows people, citizens clashing with every single news report that shows people clashing with federal officers or police is equal to a campaign event for President Trump. People don't look at this and say, "My God, this authoritarian." They say, "Why don't these people simply leave?" And if the rebuttal is, "Well, they were peacefully protesting," well, they're not now. You can't inherent to watching people clash with officers is the fact that they shouldn't be there. Now, if you say that, well, they have a right to protest, then they can take this up, find an attorney, and sue the city or sue the state and say, you know what, try to sue the federal government. But the ACLU, I did a segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel, so check that out. The ACLU gives a kind of legal primer on exactly what your rights are. You do not have a right. Mark Estes! Thank you, Mark. Greatly appreciated. Mark Estes, thank you. Mark Estes, thank you so very, very much. Thank you, Mark. Mark, my second nephew, thank you. Christopher, thank you. You do not have a right to stay at anywhere indefinitely. Even if you think it's unfair. You can't just, you see these videos with people walking up to police or federal officers, and they get sprayed, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is an authoritarian system." It's like, no, you're when they say that the officers provoke violence, no, the violence actually, any violence after that, when you see these police or officers, you have to leave, even if you think it's unfair. You might think it's unfair. You might think that you're trying to, this is your First Amendment right. Your First Amendment right stops, according to the ACLU, when the police say, "Please disperse." That's according to the ACLU. That's according to the ACLU. Okay? And according to the ACLU, if indeed they did not give you a chance to disperse, or if you're not blocking traffic, or if you're not doing anything wrong, and they still tell you to disperse or to leave the premises or to stop protesting, then you can take it up with an attorney or attorneys. You can't throw things, and you can't get into these clashes with police because even the ACLU says that's not acceptable. Even the ACLU says that is not acceptable. Your First Amendment rights cease to protect you at that point, or you do not have the First Amendment right for physical altercations with anyone or violent altercations with federal officers. So there's this clip that people are playing, like with one man walking up and then getting sprayed in the face. It's like, why are you walking up to these federal officers? What's the point? You're not protected under the First Amendment anymore at that point. So you look at every situation, and once it's devolved into chaos and mayhem, you don't have a legal right anymore. See, it's funny too, because they don't get that. I have to get this up. Works, always has. People need to be. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, CNN agrees with you. Old school dad man, CNN, and there's a Yale scientist that agrees with you as well. And there's a French scientist, and so that's already been, President Trump has been vindicated on that in many ways. According to Yale studies that the New York Times posted, and also CNN posted a recent study. But again, Trump could say breathe air, and they'd say, you know what, breathing air is overrated, and you probably shouldn't do that because, too much air is no good for you. So who knows? We're going to look back at this time period, and they're going to lose again in November because they're not winning in November. But old school dad man, thank you. Old school dad man, thank you. I'll read you this. Kanye West submits petition for Missouri ballot, New York State. Kanye West on Monday submitted paperwork to appear on the Missouri ballot in November, and he's also making a last-ditch effort to run for president in voter-rich New York. He has a couple weeks, I think, or a week. According to the Kansas City Star, West's independent presidential campaign delivered signatures to the Missouri Secretary of State just ahead of the 5 p.m. Okay, officials now need to verify that the signatures came from at least 10,000 registered voters in order for West to make it on the ballot. The 43-year-old rapper would need 30,000 ballot signatures by Thursday to make it on the Empire State ballot, and he's been working to make that happen, according to a congressional candidate. So, I mean, I'm sure you could find 100,000 people within a week who want Kanye West in New York. So if he's working on that, he should be able to get it. John Elson, who is seeking to run on an independence line to the 17th Congressional District in Hudson Valley, said West is paying his team of canvassers to help him out. Elson said he's not personally taking money from West for the petitioning, though his backers are. They were very, very generous. Elson said of West's team, as good as one should expect from an extroverted preacher and more. My canvassers should do well. An independent party nominating petition for West shows him attempting to run his newly fledged birthday party. With Michelle Tidball, a Cody, Wyoming-based biblical life coach, as his vice president. Nice. I never thought I'd be helping facilitate ballot access for Kanye West. Elson quipped, or is it Eisen? Eisen quipped, the Chicago-born sneaker mogul suddenly announced on July 4th that he intended to throw his hat in the ring against both President Trump and Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election. Despite his late entry into the race and rambling first campaign speech in South Carolina, West seems serious about his White House bid. Yes. Earlier this month, he filed a $35,000 fee to appear on the November 3rd ballot in Oklahoma, and statement of organization paperwork with the Federal Election Committee. So he has until Thursday. He gets on New York, ladies and gentlemen. It's game, set, match. My second nephew! I watch you all the time. It's time I contribute. Thanks for your live streams. My second nephew, thank you so very, very much. Very kind of you. My second nephew, thank you so much. It means a great deal to me. Be here on November 3rd. My second nephew, be here on November 3rd along with everybody here, because November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are going to be the three of the most important days in the history of the internet. I mean, and perhaps the three most important days in the history of YouTube. So, my second nephew, thank you very much. Dean Diefendorf! Dean! 15 months on the job and no action from D. Mr. B. We are watching, sorry for the spelling, YouTube. Okay, prevents me from sending if properly written out. Thank you, HA, for being our voice. Thank you so very much, Dean. I agree with you. I want William Barr to do something. My second nephew, Dean, I agree with you 100%. When you had Sessions Sessions was a Democratic Party. He might as well have been Eric Holder or Attorney General Loretta Lynch, because Jeff Sessions, basically, without him, there's no special counsel. He could have said no special counsel. He did not have. He did not have to recuse himself, and they would have tried to impeach Jeff Sessions, and he didn't want to go through that, very likely because he has a whole litany of really shady things in his past. What he did to Trump was pretty much the same thing Mueller and Rod Rosenstein and Clinton did without Jeff Sessions. See, this is how we know Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. In addition to James Comey and Clapper and Brennan and Strzok and McCabe and Attorney General Loretta Lynch and Christopher Steele, and she had Jeff Sessions, and she didn't and she didn't even have to even be on the same political side. Imagine how influential you are when even one of the most powerful Republicans is on your side. So, Dean Diefendorf, I agree with you. But at the same time, it's like it does take a second. It does take a moment. Even without an apoplectic and hysterical media, it takes a president, almost at the end of his first term to kind of wrestle control away of the government from his predecessor. So, the second term, you're going to see indictments. You're going to see a lot of things take place. I don't think they're going to, excuse me. I don't think you're going to see. They can't go with Biden. They can't go with Biden. Sessions appointed Huber also. But they can't go with Biden. I mean, just because Sessions does maybe something good, it can't overshadow the fact that almost everything he's done has been horrendous. And Trump literally campaigned against him. He basically insults Sessions any chance he gets. He insults Jeff Sessions. Pretty unbelievable. But, ladies and gentlemen, I I think that I think this is going to be a very interesting, very interesting election. You're going to have Kanye West take hundreds of thousands of votes away from Democrats. He's going to take hundreds of thousands of votes away from Democrats. And if he takes hundreds of thousands of votes or millions, well, he'll take millions of votes away. But if he takes enough votes away to give President Trump the popular vote, they're done as a political party. The Democratic Party rests upon the credibility and legitimacy of the Democratic Party for the past 4 years rests upon we're not Trump. They fabricated an absurd Trump-Russia myth. They did not give any data or evidence that Facebook ads influenced even one vote. They literally cheated their own candidate, then blamed Russia for letting us know that he was cheated. Now, it's interesting, too. You have these like people, sometimes it's really interesting. Whether they're like atheists or, pundits or world-renowned philosophers or atheists, and you have people who, I'm not going to bring up names, but when I'll do a respectful critique, because you have people who are renowned atheists who disparage President Trump and think that basically he's like this buffoon and he's horrible and we're abandoning our allies and all of this. When you ask, when they talk about President Trump, and this is why, like, you could be a brilliant scholar or a brilliant doctor or a brilliant physicist or a brilliant mathematician or a brilliant, but if you don't, if you stay in your lane, or a brilliant, what was it? Noam Chomsky was a linguist. You could be brilliant at a certain field, okay? But that doesn't necessarily translate to basic logic when it comes to your viewpoints on politics. Thomas Sowell has a great book on how intellectuals always get things like, oftentimes get the biggest stories wrong, or they're on the wrong side of history on a whole bunch of things. And it's interesting. You have a lot of atheists who say, well, God doesn't exist. God can't exist. There's no evidence. And in the same breath, they say, well, obviously Trump worked with Russia. The intelligence community says so. And all the experts say so. And the consensus among the smartest people is that Trump had inappropriate ties with Russia. That is exactly the argument, that is the antithesis of the argument they convey, that they express pertaining to the existence or the lack of any evidence of God existing. So you have atheists who say, oh, Trump, he lies so much. And they don't look at the lies from the lead up to the NATO intervention in Libya, or the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld failed foreign policy deception, or the fact that intelligence has been wrong from the Bay of Pigs, the Gulf of Tonkin, weapons of mass destruction, and now Facebook ads. Tell me where intelligence has saved this country from, in terms of this monumental decision that was made because of intelligence. I mean, there have been intelligence victories, sure. I mean, there have been specific intelligence victories, but during battle, during wars. Okay? But I'm talking about like the code breakers during World War II. But I'm talking about when politicians use, the intelligence says this, the intelligence says that. It's like you're basically relying on the viewpoints of people that you don't know where they're getting this information, and you don't have any evidence that this information is accurate. And furthermore, you know that their track record is horrendous. I'm just me too. Electoral College trumps popular vote, correct? Yes, absolutely. But the popular vote, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm just me too, you have to win the Electoral College and become president. You can lose the popular vote, but they've spent so long on trying to say, well, we won the popular vote. More people wanted Clinton. More people wanted Clinton. More people wanted Clinton. And it's like, well, that really... Clinton outspent Trump 2-1. Clinton outspent Trump 2-1. 1.2 billion to 600 million. So, but getting back to the point, it's like you have the smartest people in the room. You have people who don't even like the Democratic Party saying, or don't like the far left, but they're saying, Trump is just such a horrible human being. Well, why is he a horrible human being? I want to know this. Did he raise $10 billion for the people of Haiti and not give the money? Because that's what two Democrats did. Did he utilize servers to hide communication and also find a way to put top secret and special access program intelligence on these servers that were unencrypted, by the way? Then they don't use basic logic. They say, well, you know what? Russia wanted Trump. Why? He's been more belligerent to Russia than President Obama. President Obama did not impose sanctions until the very last moment. And then they set up Michael Flynn with, oh my God, he's trying to remove the sanctions that President Obama imposed like literally weeks before he left office. Then they don't use, it's like a complete lack of basic logic for the most intelligent people on the planet. Like, this is why it's like, I don't talk about neuroscience. My lane is politics and Democratic Party corruption. And, I touch upon foreign policy as much as I can with the YouTube guidelines. And I touch upon other things as much as I can. But I focus on politics. And I base my political views on basic logic. He never worked with Russia. I don't care if somebody votes for Hillary Clinton. I don't think they're an immoral person, despite the fact that she used the super predator comment and voted alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. And it was her decision, according to reports, that convinced Biden and President Obama to intervene in Libya, which led to the destruction of a country where human beings are bought and sold. But I don't say, oh, well, if you vote Clinton, you're a horrible human being. Basic logic dictates that you're not a horrible human being just because you vote for President Trump. That's just a sad and pathetic attempt at trying to marginalize people who disagree with you. And basic logic also tells you that the Clintons aren't better human beings than President Trump. Okay? President Trump has given more money to historically black colleges and universities than President Obama did in his first 4 years. President Trump signed the deal to get us out of America's longest running military conflict in Afghanistan. I voted for Jill Stein as a protest because I knew Trump would very likely do this sort of thing, which is exactly what I want. I want American soldiers home with their families. I want them home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. And then you get the left, oh, we abandoned our allies. We weren't sent there for any allies. Go find out why President Obama in 2014 sent Americans to a certain region of the world. We weren't there for any allies. We were there to fight an organization that Russia and 4 other countries in that region are already battling. And those specific allies want weaponry. Guess who gave them the weaponry? Trump. Guess who did not? President Obama. Same thing with Ukraine. Guess who gave them lethal aid? President Trump, not President Obama. So who's more belligerent towards Russia? And whose foundation took money from a mining company that got 20% of U.S. uranium capacity? See, they don't accept logic. It's basic logic. I don't care. See, this is the thing. I don't care if someone doesn't like President Trump's personality. Exactly. Transient traveler, exactly. I don't care if President Trump, President Trump shouldn't have used a certain insult when he was talking about people kneeling in the NFL. I don't agree. I don't think he should have used that insult. But if he wanted to disagree with the protest, he could have done so in a more diplomatic manner. But I don't see any Democrats kneeling. So why is it that they take advantage of everything from a political sense and let everyone else take the heat? Do you see Democrats? Well, I mean, like some Democrats actually are, but do you see Democrats clashing with police and federal officers? Do you see Democratic politicians kneeling? Okay, do you see, you don't see those things. Do you see Democratic politicians or media showing what takes place? Because people are losing their lives still. American soldiers are losing their lives still in the regions where President Trump wants to remove our presence from. So do you see Democrats talking about this? No. Do you see Democrats passing a Medicare for All bill? Where's the Medicare for All bill? Where's the Medicare for All bill? That people get like a whole bunch of venture capital funding to try to, to push, and you get a lot of, oh my God, in terms of Patreon money, and oh my God, and support, and oh my God, oh my goodness. I'm speaking of the venture capital funding, the people who get lots of money from venture capital, who have racial discrimination lawsuits. They shall remain nameless until they ever try to step to me again, and then it's game over. But where's that Medicare for All bill? Transient traveler, I don't think Biden has a chance in the known universe. There's no chance. That's why Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee, and I will have made the biggest political call of all time. I don't think there's a chance in the known universe that Biden wins. The polls are a reflection of what people who dislike President Trump feel. They're a reflection of media coverage. The media is apoplectic. There's not one person at CNN or MSNBC. There is not one person at the Washington Post or New York Times who is going into work with a Make America Great Again hat. There is not one person. Haha, old school dad man, hello. There is not one person who is going to work with a Make America Great Again hat at CNN or the Washington Post. That's not happening. Now you have The Hill today. Enthusiasm. Trump supporters more enthusiastic than Biden's. But I thought Biden's up 17 points. This is just 17 hours ago. I'm not as smart. I'm not as intelligent as the average Democrat because they're so smart that they allowed Facebook ads to defeat them. That's how intelligent they are. But I'm trying to wrap my puny, tiny, teeny little brain around the fact that if Biden is up 14 points nationally, how is it that Trump supporters are more enthusiastic than Biden's? How many no malarkey shirts have you seen on YouTube? I am the only one who has a no malarkey shirt. I am the only one who has a riding with Biden tank top. I am the only one with a Biden 2020 Speedos. And do you see any merchandise? Do you see anyone? Do you see anyone trying to Do you see anyone saying, I can't wait for Biden, he inspires me? I want the first cadaver as president. He is very inspiring for exhumed bodies. Biden looks like Rip Van Winkle's nightmare. He is so boring that paint watches him dry. He is a human highlight reel for absurd and hilarious comments. My whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, is the following. Basic logic tells you from 2017, when I wrote in the Huffington Post, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality, get ready for 8 years of Trump. They're not going with Biden. They're going to we have just a couple of weeks until the convention. The convention, ladies and gentlemen, the convention is now going to be like, 2-hour format? This is hilarious. DNC convention. This is so hilarious. Democrats aim for 2 hours of convention primetime. 2 hours? 2 hours? It's the latest move to downsize the convention. Well, I mean, it's like you're not going to catch anything if you watch programming. So, Democratic officials are limiting their primetime programming at next month's to 2 hours per night. The DNC spokeswoman stated, we are not officially nominating Joe Biden. I know, even for me, I'm like, is it true? Of course, it doesn't matter. I know it's true. It doesn't matter whether she would say that or not. I will have made the biggest political call of all time because they have a chance to win with Hillary Clinton. Not a fan. She has what it takes to win a presidential election. Biden does not. That's why he never even, his first primary win was South Carolina in 2020. He didn't even get 1% in Iowa in 2008. He didn't even get 1% in 2008. He didn't even get 1% in Iowa in 2008. So, they're now, Democrats aim at a 2-hour convention. It's like, this is hilarious. Look, all they need to do, there are 2 rounds of voting, okay? Pledged delegates, vote round 1. Okay, so all they need to do how to win the Democratic nomination and why it could get complicated. New York Times. So here, it's, look. This is here. So to win the nomination, a candidate must still earn a majority of the votes on a given ballot. In this case, that means she or he must amass more than 2,375 pledged and automatic delegates. He's not going to get that in the first round. A few automatic delegates get only, so in the second and subsequent rounds, there's more than 2 rounds? Is this like, if it's like Iowa, you could just give Clinton the nomination like tomorrow. Iowa was very fair. They needed an app to count. Excel wasn't good enough, and the calculator wasn't good enough. In the second and subsequent rounds, a few automatic delegates get only half votes. The DNC says the magic number is 2,375.5, which this time is not rounded up. It is theoretically possible that the nomination process would extend through multiple ballots until one candidate hits the magic number of 2,375. So how many does Climb BMX, hello. How many does Biden delegate count? To win the okay, so he has to these pledged delegates have to vote. Once they vote, so he theoretically should become nominee, but they still have to vote for him. If he comes into the nomination, and let's say 400 delegates are like, yeah, we're going to vote for Hillary. We want the first female president. Or let's say 300. Then it goes to the superdelegates. So it's like so easy how they take it from Biden. Do you think he's even going to care too? It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, people now. J-Spot J. J-Spot J. J-Spot J. So you have a situation where there's two major rounds, and then there's even some other rounds too. Who are these superdelegates? The superdelegates are literally Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Bill Clinton are a superdelegate. Why would Bill Clinton vote for Biden? I want to know this. You think he's going to come home and have a Courvoisier bottle flying at him? With the speed of a Nolan Ryan fastball? You think that's going to happen? I don't think so. Basically, superdelegates are party insiders and VIPs. Hey, Stone Tier. And they can support whomever they want. Okay, there you go. There you go. If no one gets to 1,991 delegates are not legally bound to vote for the candidate to whom, well, they are not legally bound at all. They're not legally bound to vote for the candidate to whom they have been allocated. The whole thing's a racket anyway. The whole thing's a racket. Here, so let's see. 538 has a great article on this. They're not legally bound, so legally bound. They are not actually legally bound to vote for them, even on the first ballot. This is a fantastic article. On January 23rd, 2020, I used to always put this in the description section. Okay? They're not legally bound. They're not legally bound. Do you understand? On November 2nd, if Clinton is not on the ballot, I will be like, they're not legally bound, and with a sign outside the DNC, they're not legally bound. But this is a secret. The Democratic delegates are pledged to certain candidates based on the results of primaries, but they are not actually legally bound to vote for them, even on the first ballot. This is an article, January 23rd, 2020, 538. They're not legally bound. So that's a huge thing that, there's no way they're going with Biden. There's zero way they're going with Biden. I haven't been right on everything the past 4 years, but I've been right on most things. And I was right that Clinton could not win. She lost to Trump. I was the only person on the left saying that. Of course, you have Sticks was amazing. He actually picked states. I did not. I didn't get into the states, but I kind of knew which states were going to go where, but I didn't get into he was amazing. But on the left, I was still on the left. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. And the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. So they're not legally bound. They're not legally bound. Pledged delegates are not legally bound. Democratic delegates are pledged to certain candidates based on the results of primaries, but they are not actually legally bound to vote for them, even on the first ballot. How difficult is it for Madam Secretary, to just be like, gosh, I don't want to share this article, but it's an article on that oil and gas company. Oopsie, or whatever. I mean, that's not how it's going to happen. That's not how it goes down. But a million things can take place even 3 days or 4 days prior to where Democrats will say, gosh, it's too bad. He's a good, honest, decent human being, but it's the centennial of the 19th Amendment. I think we need a woman to win the presidency. And the people who don't like, the argument that the people who don't like Hillary Clinton like Biden, that's absurd. That's absurd. The reason that's absurd is because the same people who don't like Clinton are the same people who think that Biden engaged in a quid pro quo. Because he actually stated he did. Because he bragged about it. Because nobody gave him the authority to do that. You can't simply tell another country to force out any official of that country and then say, well, you know what, I'm doing it to combat corruption. So, I'll read it again. Democratic delegates are pledged to certain candidates based on the results of primaries, but they are not legally bound to vote for them, even on the first ballot. Okay? Madam Secretary has stated, I want to become president. I don't want to run for president. So whatever. She'll be running after she gets the nomination, but she's the only chance they have. She's the only chance they have. They don't have another chance. They don't have any other chances with anyone else. They don't have the opportunity to win the all-important exhumed body or cadaver vote. Okay? The reason that Biden is up is because media is actively covering up any botched, horrific, hilarious, nasty thing he does. If he says what he said to Charlemagne should have tanked anyone's campaign, and they should never, in this day and age with this type of fanatical viewpoint on politics and society, he should never have been able to overcome or circumvent the comment he made to Charlemagne. But he did, because Democrats are disingenuous hypocrites, and they're duplicitous. And if Trump made the same comment, oh my God almighty, they would never stop. And they would add subtext to it, and they would add intent that wasn't there. With Biden, oh, he didn't mean it. Trump is worse. Oh my God, not a big deal. Oh, I agree with him. Da, 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 da. So the polls reflect a massive cover-up or a massive, this 24/7 public relations spin. They don't cover Biden's, what did he called Arizona a city the other day. Then with the cognitive test that Trump took, George Rivera Jr., do you think there might be a huge Kanye painted in front of Trump Towers? There should be. Larry, hello. George Rivera Jr. There should be. There should be. I think that they're friends. That's another thing. George Rivera Jr., they're friends. They're friends. That's the thing. George Rivera Jr., nobody realizes that Kanye West and President Trump are friends. Kanye West and President Trump, almost certainly, whether it was some agreement or whether it was a tacit approval, or almost certainly President Trump said, you know what, if you want to run, that would be doing us a great favor because you'd get a lot of Democratic votes. So George Rivera Jr., that's why Democrats are petrified. That's why they're trying to disparage his mental state. That's why they're... And don't think that, like, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West don't know exactly what they're doing. Every article, oh my God, he's going through this mental issue or that it's part of the media drama. The media is like this really slimy creature that can either devour you, or if you know how to manipulate it, can devour your adversaries, or if you know how to deal with it, won't be able to hurt you, but actually you could kind of, twist things or manipulate things to make it help you in some way. So what Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are doing every day or so, oh, they might get divorced, oh my God, but this actually helps them. More people know about his albums. More people know about what his businesses. More people know about him running for president. And for millions of voters who don't like President Trump necessarily, but who are fed up with the Democratic Party, for millions of voters, he is a protest vote. So every single story that has him in the news, that's good for Kanye West. They don't get it. They don't get it. People don't get it. George Rivera Jr., they don't get it. They think that oh my God, they might get divorced and he apologized. And it's like they obsess over every news story, just like they do with President Trump. But what people don't understand is that when you're a billionaire, or when you're this worldwide icon, or when you're when you have name recognition, if you can't go into a restaurant, any restaurant in the country without being recognized, like President Trump and Kanye West cannot go to any restaurant in the country when they open up or whatever. They can't go to any store or restaurant in the country without being instantly recognized. Amy Klobuchar could go to sit next to you while you're eating. You might not know who she is. You very likely, probably won't. I shouldn't say might. You probably won't know who she is. You almost certainly will not know. If Kristen Gillibrand, if Beto O'Rourke was wearing a hat, you wouldn't know who he was, nor would you care. If you knew that it was Beto O'Rourke, you wouldn't care either. Okay? Biden, if you don't have Secret Service and it's just Biden wearing a hat, you probably wouldn't, and glasses, probably wouldn't recognize him either. Okay. Hillary is different. You would recognize Clinton. They're not going with Biden. So I mean, you have this. This election is not about policy. If it were about policy, Trump would still win. Because foreign policy, Democrats simply want to keep Americans. They want to keep Americans in military conflict forever, which kind of defeats the purpose. They defeat their own argument by saying, well, what happens if we leave? Well, that's exactly the point. If you have to say what happens if we leave after 20 years, you need to leave. You can't stay there forever. But then they say, oh, well, our allies are making fun of us. So who cares what anyone else thinks about us? Mike Cavallaro! Mike, thank you. Thank you, Mike Cavallaro. Thank you. Greatly appreciated, Mike. Thank you as always. Thank you for watching. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Climb BMX! My dear friends here on Vancouver Island are absentee voters in Humboldt County, California. That's my connection here. Thanks. Climb BMX! Yes, thank you so very, very much. Well, just the fact, I mean, my Canadian viewers, I really appreciate. I have a great many wonderful Canadian viewers, viewers in the UK, Nepal, Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand. So I really appreciate my viewers everywhere. Thank you, Climb BMX, my Canadian viewers. Thank you very, very much. Rand, hello. It's going to be Hillary. Climb BMX, thank you, Mike. Thank you so very, very much. Mike Cavallero, thank you. But Climb BMX, thank you as always. When they lose, you have to think of the election, people. You have to think of the election in the following manner. You have to say, okay, there's not enough ability to see into the future for just a couple of months. There's not enough ability to there's not enough people envisioning a hilarious like, you have to be here, people. You have to be here on November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and definitely the month of August, late August, especially because Clinton's going to be nominee. If she's not the nominee, they have zero chance to win. Zero chance. Because even if the polls were accurate, they're only reflecting the completely apoplectic, one-sided, Democratic Party-driven media spin. And everything is negative about Trump. Everything. And you have to look at it from the vantage point of, could anyone else even keep an approval rating above 40%, which is what Trump has still. Nobody else could keep an approval rating above 40%. The fact that he is even above 40% is unbelievable. He never gets a break. Have you read a positive article about Trump? You've read articles even recently that the economy is rebounding, despite, governors are like, got to shut down the whole economy. Mad Max. We got to live like Mad Max. But when was the last time you got not, it was unfair that they set him up and framed him. That's not a positive article about presidents. Every once in a while, the Washington Post will allow somebody to say that. But when was the last time you read a positive article about how President Trump is a good president? I have not found an article in the New York Times or the Washington Post, or CNN, that says Trump is a great president. There's a great Van Jones article on the First Step Act, but I have not found one article in the Washington Post, one op-ed in the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, nothing. Not one video. Not one article saying that, he's a good president. Not even during the time we had record low unemployment. It was always like, we have record low unemployment, but you know what? Trump, he said that we had the best economy ever, and that's another lie. We didn't have the best economy ever, under Trump. You are dealing with a situation. You're dealing with a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where President Trump is going after the Democratic Party and its public relations apparatus. There is no journalism anymore. There is no journalism anymore. Very rarely will you get an article that's devoid of any bias against Trump, or there's no journalism anymore. The Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, every other major publication, especially when a New York Magazine, Vanity Fair, every publication is composed of people who despise President Trump. And the coverage is not just biased. They're basically like the headlines now on CNN are hilarious. Paul, hello. Listening. Exactly. I think we're in a twilight zone. That's why, you know what, Paul, great point. We're in like this kind of twilight zone world now where you're hearing that you're hearing that a man who communicates and looks like an exhumed body is up 15 points over President Trump. Is this even possible? Is this reasonable? They covered up the Tara Reade story. They cover up every absurd gaffe. They cover up anything offensive. They cover up his foreign policy failures and his and a possible, very likely quid pro quo based on corruption. They fabricate Trump working with Russia. They don't give any data on how many votes were altered because of Facebook ads. They don't bring up the fact that the United States government, the intelligence community, has never stated with certainty the DNC was even hacked. It's all moderate to high confidence. So, Mike, I agree with that. So, I mean, looking at this also from Mike, great point. From the perspective, if you have people who are, if you have politicians who are absolutely ruthless, and you know that Clinton, Madam Secretary, has always wanted to be president, and she truly believes that Russia stole the election from her, or maybe she doesn't. But she has gotten everyone to believe that Russia stole the election. Okay. So if that's the case, let's just say, let's assume for a moment that Biden is the nominee. And let's assume for a moment that Biden is the nominee and Clinton actually wants to become nominee, but doesn't have an opening just yet. Do you think she would be shy? Do you think she would not try to take the nomination from Biden? You could probably take his wallet or anything around him and he wouldn't care or wouldn't know about it. But do you think that she wouldn't try to find some loophole or some way to take the nomination? Don't you think that she would find maybe some way to, if Bernie Sanders was cheated, you think that the DNC high ups are really devoted to Biden? At the end of the day, it has to be at the convention because everyone on the planet will be watching it when Clinton is nominated. But if they're so inept, if they're so utterly inept and incompetent that they actually go with Biden and nobody watches the DNC convention, and then realize that, you know what, maybe Clinton was right, maybe we should just go with Clinton instead. Oh my God, if they're so inept, that she doesn't take it at the convention, eventually one would think she would find a way, being in politics for 30 plus years, being first lady and being nominee and only losing by 70,000 votes and getting the popular vote and having Russia steal it from her. Do you think that she would be just okay? You think that right now Madam Secretary is really truly wants Biden to win? Does that make any sense at all? Does this person fit the psychological and emotional profile of a human being who would just give up and not try to attain the most important, the most powerful and influential political office in the world. Like Clinton could be remembered in world history as the first female president. You think she's going to give it to the first cadaver as president, the first exhumed body, Biden? First of all, the notion that he would even be like, they don't get it. Like, they don't really understand. They're trying to make fun of Trump because of, they're trying to make fun of President Trump. They're trying to make fun of President Trump and say, oh, well, man, woman, a camera, dog. Oh. That is about the former vice president not being able to pass or almost certainly having issues with that type of test. That's the whole point they're missing. Exactly, D-Lynn, exactly. That's the whole point they're missing. Like, I don't think they understand. They definitely don't understand that the whole reason he took that test is not, it's not for him. It's to highlight his current challenger. It's to highlight the issues around his current challenger. But getting back to, this is another issue also. You get this this nonsense like, oh, well, our allies are making fun of us. What do I care? Our military budget alone. Now, like when they say slash the budget, that has nothing to do with militarism. Nothing. Bringing home Americans from daily conflict, yeah, that is important. We need to do that. That's why President Trump's going to win again. That's why I'm voting. That's the biggest reason I'm voting for President Trump. But our military budget is like, it's like we have a greater budget than like 10 countries combined. So countries 2 through 9 or 2 through 10 aren't, you can add them all up and it still wouldn't amount to what we spend pertaining to our military budget. When you hear this nonsense, so our allies are laughing at us, well, if they're laughing at the only country who would save them or protect them from a serious, military confrontation with Russia. So the rationale is, well, Russia wanted Trump because he made NATO members pay more money. This is why. Does that make any sense at all? It makes no sense at all. So, it makes no sense at all. But you have also, the one great thing about November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is that you're going to see this psychological and emotional phenomenon. How on earth are they going to explain that they lost twice to President Trump? Because they're not winning, like, the notion that that Biden would defeat Trump is predicated upon the belief that he would defeat Trump in a debate. Biden has lost every single debate. Kamala Harris absolutely obliterated him. Bernie Sanders, decimated him. When did he win? When did he win a debate? He was barely on that stage talking. And then the one time he did is he had an eye vessel burst, and he looked like one of the aliens in V. Remember the show V? He turned into a reptile on national television. So here, eye vessel pop. Here. Hold on. Biden. And then they're like, oh, his Biden's bloody eye, common condition. Can you imagine if Trump had that, they would actually say he's a Martian, and they would be serious too. They would be serious too. This was during a CNN town hall where his eyes swelled up, and it looked like he looked like a reptile. Karen Man 100. If Biden wins, will he get an extra scoop of vote? Maybe. Maybe. Karen Man 100. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? It's like, just listen to on YouTube, 13 minutes. There's 14 minutes. They're 13 minutes. You listen to him saying the most absurd things for 13 minutes, or and you just listen. It's like this person is not going to. The only reason he won is because Bernie Sanders, they despise Bernie Sanders. They absolutely despise Bernie Sanders. And they despise Trump. That's it. Karen Man 100, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This has been a horrendous campaign. And then, of course, today you get, the New York Times. The only reason Madam Secretary didn't win is because Biden's a man. And Trump's having trouble with a man. No, he's not having trouble with Biden. You can go look. Let's look here. Clinton will lose again, but at least they could possibly win with Clinton. Clinton up here. Up 12 points. October 23rd, 2016. Just here. October 23rd, 2016. Clinton up 12 points in ABC News poll. June 26th. Clinton up 12 points in national poll. August 23rd. Clinton leads Trump by 12 points in Reuters poll. October 26th. Hillary Clinton leads Donald Trump by 14 points. October 26th. So I don't know. It is really unbelievable. It's like we have this national amnesia. We have national amnesia. It's unbelievable. Just type in Clinton up 12 points. Go to the Google. Type in Clinton up 12 points. She had a 12 to 14 point lead in various polls weeks before November in 2016. Why are people enamored with the polls now? She didn't win by 12 points. She didn't win the popular vote by 12 points. Then it narrowed down to around 3 points. And they say, you see, she won the popular vote by 3 points. You see? It's oh my God. 2 weeks before the October 26th. What was it, November 6th or November 8th? So 2016 election was on November 8th. October 26th, Clinton still had a national, according to one poll, she had a nationwide lead of 12 points. Does that make any sense at all? So why would people still be enamored with polls that were dreadfully, hilariously wrong? They're oh, well, Trump's losing this election based on the same polls that you thought would give Clinton a monumental victory in October of 2016. I don't understand this. By the way, I keep on, there are world-renowned atheists who are oh my God, Trump is going to lose. Or Trump is a horrible president. Based on what? Well, he lies all the time. President Obama and and Bush lied even more about the biggest things. Did Trump get us into a never-ending military conflict? No. Did any of his interventions ruin a country? No. Did his Secretary of State use private servers outside of the United States government with top secret intel on them? No. So tell me what he did that was so horrible. Oh, he's very rude. He's very rude. He's just mean. But they're not, this is the thing, they're not respectful to Trump. I mean, sometimes President Trump pushes it a little bit. Where even, I'm like, maybe just calm down a little bit in the rhetoric. Because, it gets them like, oh my God, did you see what he said? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But, the vitriol is not warranted. What did he do that was so horrible? Because we had record low unemployment, and they were still saying he was the worst president of all time. So I don't know how that was happening. And I knew that if there was something that was really Florida man bear, man, this guy really knows the thing. Florida man bear, hello. I hope all is well. Florida man bear, hello. Florida man bear, hello. Hope all is well. Florida man bear, it's gonna be a great election. It's gonna be a great election. It is gonna be fantastic. Florida man bear, thank you. November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, ladies and gentlemen. November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The polls were dreadfully wrong. Clinton up 12 points. Just type that into Google. You have Clinton up 12 points. And Clinton will still be the nominee and lose again, but they don't care about that. Because there are enough people who will be like, if you don't vote for Clinton, if you don't vote for her, that's it. We're not getting divorced, that's it. I'm waiting for the full court press. I'm waiting for the 2-minute drill. I'm waiting for the squeeze in baseball. I'm waiting for when Clinton becomes nominee and they say, if you even dare, decide to bring up her personality. You decide to bring up Madam Secretary's personality, or if she's a good person, you're going to compare that to the embodiment of every horrible thing that's ever existed in Trump. That's it. We're divorcing. That's it. We're divorcing. Florida man bear, thank you. I think that you look at this election, and you gotta say, just type in Joe Biden right now. Now they're talking about his vice president pick, and they're saying Kamala Harris might not be his vice president pick. She didn't even get to Iowa, so then you have CNN. Joe Biden could still lose this election. Oh, gee, that's good. Yeah. What do you mean could still? If they don't even cover him. If they covered him, he'd be 15 points down from Trump. And then here, Yahoo News, despite Trump's goading, Biden steers clear of law and order debate. Well, what's the debate? There is no debate, number one, and he can't say anything because then he would be actually proving Trump right. So, and he's losing on that also. So, it's just they're making it really annoying for me because they're taking their sweet time. They really are taking their sweet time. They really are taking their sweet time. Really taking their sweet time. The good thing for them, too, is that, like, when they do change from Biden to Clinton, it'll be seamless, and any voice of dissent will be a Trump supporter, Russian operative, Kanye West supporter, Putin operative. So you'll see divorces this is what I don't get. Like, you have this, I'm watching this row of federal officers, and you have a man yelling. It's like, what's the point? What's, like, then he gets sprayed, and then people say, like, and then, like, there's, like, a Hollywood celebrity, what's happening to America? This is sickening. Well, what's sickening? Why is this man yelling at these officers? What's the point there? He's not, the ACLU has stated, there's no First Amendment right to going up against these officers and either yelling at them or, like, if they say he has to, like, the protests, people have to disperse, they have to disperse. I don't get this. This is like a photo op for Democrats to say, oh my God, look what Trump is doing. It's like, what do you want these federal officers to do? You want them to just sit there, and then you have this, like, oh my God. And then he's like, oh my God, it's a horrible scene, but what did he expect? I'm not saying that he deserved it. I'm saying, what did he expect to happen? There's no point. You're not doing anything to make society better by going up to federal officers and yelling at them. Granted, he shouldn't have been sprayed, so I don't know why he was sprayed. I think it was just maybe because he was trying to provoke, and I'm watching this, like 5.8 million views. So this man, there's nobody in the street, and this man is berating these federal officers. They're doing their job. So I don't know why he's berating them. What do you gain from berating these officers? They're doing a job. You can, and then he gets sprayed. So he probably didn't. I don't know. What was the point? Maybe he was getting too close to them. I don't know. I don't know. Like, what is it that the left wants? Like, what is it the Democratic Party wants? The right to be belligerent to these federal officers without any response? Because that's nothing to do with the First Amendment. Even the ACLU says that. So I don't, like, what is the political objective here? And then they say, like, oh my God, this, like, this look what this man, like, he was a veteran. Well, God bless him. But Tulsi Gabbard's a veteran also. Clinton said she was a Russian operative. They didn't say anything. Cosmic Grandpa! What do you think of MLB now that Fauci's first pitch is the highlight? Highest selling. I didn't know that. I didn't know that his first pitch was high. I actually didn't know that. Highest selling Cosmic Grandpa. Baseball cards being one of the best selling in Topps history. I don't see. I have no. See that too. Like, if you're a collector, why is that even Why would that even be important? But Cosmic Grandpa, thank you. But I'm looking at this right now. Like, what's happening to America? Well, it's happening in Portland. It's one city. And you have property damage in the millions, and you have a whole lot of chaos and mayhem. Not Trump's fault. Like, what do you want? Is everything Trump's fault? What do you want him to do? Allow people to just run up to federal officers or police and yell at them for 35, 40 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, a day straight of yelling, getting in their faces, or like mainly assaulting them or throwing things? I swear to God, I don't understand what the political objective is, and I don't understand how this is First Amendment right. You have the right to protest, but you're deliberately being belligerent. You know that you're going to provoke a response. You're not protected under the First Amendment, and nobody knows what your political statement is, other than you don't like those people who are being sent there to do a job. And this has nothing to do with an authoritarian state. Nothing. Because it's like night and day. You look at history. This is what, like, the left has no concept of history. The true authoritarians, they engage in the most heinous, barbaric, inhuman behavior that you can't even, I can't even describe on YouTube. So it's like, then you have one person, oh, he's trying to warn them. Their actions will stick in their hearts forever. No. Don't you love, like, the left, they make their own world. They make their own world. They make their own world, but here. Clinton is going to be nominee. She's going to be nominee, and it's just a matter of time. Again, like, I actually, like, watching the clip, I don't think the man should have been pepper sprayed. I don't think that he should have been, because I was looking at it again, I don't think that he should have been sprayed, but I don't know what the protocol is. Like, he was getting pretty close to them, and he was yelling at them for a long time. I mean, so I don't know what the protocol is, but also I don't know what he wanted to accomplish. What's the point there? You're not protected under the First Amendment. And if you're part of the press, I don't think you could be belligerent or combative. I don't think that's protected under the First Amendment also. So it's like, and then they say, oh my God, he's an authoritarian, he's a despot. Okay, well, you know what? If you believe that, or I should say, what do you think would happen in a true authoritarian regime? It wouldn't be that. It would be something infinitely worse and more horrendous and more atrocious and more, despicable and nefarious. But anyway. But I don't think he should have been, looking at it, I don't think he should have been pepper sprayed. But at the same time, I don't know what the protocol is. So the left is all over the place. It's pure emotion and public relations. That's it. All they want is just public relations at this point. And when they lose again to Trump, it's going to be such a monumental collapse of just the most arrogant, the most narcissistic, they, like, if the world doesn't agree with them, or anyone doesn't agree with them, even if especially on the left, see, the biggest issue is not, like, the biggest issue is if you're on the left and you don't if you're on the left, you don't agree exactly with one faction of the left, then you are a Trump supporter, and that's the worst insult on the planet. The worst insult. The worst insult in the world. Oh my God, it's the worst insult. And also, you better believe if conservatives were doing this to federal officers, oh my God, they would want, like, they would want airstrikes and tanks, and the left is like completely duplicitous. Because it's Trump said, if it was President Obama, or even like if it was Bill Clinton, well, we saw what happened in Waco. But if it was, or wait, Waco was, that was Bush. Oh no, wait, what was it? Wait, hold on, who was? No, that was Clinton. They're completely duplicitous. If it was a Democratic, you saw like with Standing Rock, you had all of these atrocities taking place with security that was hired there. Not one liberal publication from Slate to not one covered it or cared about it. Not one. And they didn't, like, the images of people protesting were not, everywhere, and like they weren't omnipresent, ubiquitous. They weren't. It was just like they're so duplicitous. It's unbelievable. But it's like interesting. Like it's like, okay, you have these confrontations taking place in Democratic-run cities with federal buildings being damaged, buildings being set ablaze. You have Minnesota asking for $500 million for Minneapolis to rebuild from very peaceful protests. It's like, then you have President Trump. Exactly. Electric dog. Hello. You have a situation where in every poll that talks about enthusiasm, there's no competition. Trump is up, obviously, because, Tales from the Crypt just doesn't inspire people. And then you have cities then you have people out of work. So you would think the enthusiasm is for Biden. You have people out of work. You have cities in mayhem and chaos. So you would think, where's this growing momentum of support for Democrats? This growing momentum of support. I mean, they have every possible advantage. Where is this growing momentum of support? Every single possible advantage. Every single possible advantage. Look, they're not legally bound. They're not legally bound to vote for Biden. Okay? Now, they're not legally bound, number one. Number two, they're not going with Biden. They're going with Hillary Clinton. She's the only chance they have. Number three, people, they haven't built enough equity. They haven't built enough. They haven't built enough support, political capital, equity, momentum. They haven't done enough to win in November. Because if they're relying on a bad situation, that's not going to give the election to Democrats. That's not going to give the election to Democrats. They did the same thing with Trump in 2016. It didn't work. They did the exact same thing with Trump in 2016. It didn't work. So they don't have a reason. There's no reason to vote Democrat. Angela Goodwin! Angela! Oh, the left has ideas about history. They cherish Marx and Engels. Mind me, they have no idea about the latest. That's true. In 2013, the Communist Manifesto was registered at UNESCO's Memory of the World program. Oh my God. Wow. Angela Goodwin. Well, they always say, Angela, don't they always say, Angela, that, communism, and it just wasn't implemented correctly. Don't they say that, Angela? Angela, thank you, as always, for your insight, your intellect, your wisdom, and for your knowledge of history. Angela, thank you so very much. Always a pleasure. Thank you, and for your support, too. Jimbo! Jay Solomon, HSC internal poll summer 2015 showed her biggest weakness, Russian corruption. Including Bill's speech. Jimbo, going with the high fastball, 98 mile per hour fastball. Jimbo, great point. And now that's a great point. I didn't know that. I should have known that, but I didn't know that. And now we have one of the many reasons for the Steele dossier and everything else. Oh, honey, I think we should buy a dossier that says that Trump likes to do the things I do. You remember that one time? Oh, yeah, well, let's say Trump did that. Yeah, honey. Oh, I love you so much. I just want to tell you how much I care about you. All right, I'll see you about 3 months. Bye. Jimbo! John Solomon's the man also. Jimbo, thank you. Angela, thank you. Jimbo, Angela, thank you. Jimbo, give my best to the BAL boys. Thank you. And to everyone in Australia who's watching, thank you so very, very much. Oh, gosh. Okay, so let's just... Angela, thank you again. Jimbo, thank you again. So let's see. Hillary Clinton. She's done so much for us, and she's such a good human being. Can we please just... let's just put hashtag I'm still with her. There's a thing about her emails. Why are people... This is hilarious. Why... This is the funniest thing in the world. These Bush-era Republicans, they're like the best friends of Democrats now, which is exactly why President Trump won. Exactly why. By the way, I'm still with her is like trending. So, I love the Clinton accounts. These are fantastic. They just... Oh, I love it. They're like, we could have had, everyone's like saying, we could have had Hillary. We could have had, I'd be like shopping and being happy now. And, we'd be having like a barbecue and be so fantastic if Clinton was president. Instead, we have the orange monster. And don't expect Bernie to come out of the woodwork. I officially have given all my delegates to the Biden. I got a small favor to ask everyone. I got a small favor to ask you. Very small. Very small favor. You got $1? Okay. Give me the $1, and I'll implement Medicare for all when the Messiah comes. Then I don't know what else. Angela Goodwin! And now I have to write in German or other languages to pass my messages through the... In short time, we might just converse. Angela, actually, write your own algorithm, and then you can decipher it through some kind of program. Oh my God, Quipu. That's great. Hieroglyphics, yes. Yes, Angela. Great point. Jimbo! He was on Sebastian Gorka today. Good interview regarding JS' new book, Fallout. Wow. John Solomon new book. Yeah, John Solomon is great. He's great. I got to get that book. I'm going to get that book. Jimbo! Thank you. You have to understand, Jimbo, everybody here, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. See, this is the thing. Their viewpoints and opinions can't hurt me or touch me because I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. Every single one of my articles that went viral went through editors. All of those editors and publications that could write hit pieces on me also had a major role in promoting my writing. Ha! So when Clinton becomes nominee and the channel grows and also, so they can't touch me. Also, like when you go from the left to becoming conservative, I'm conservative on the Second Amendment mainly, and also I want to bring home Americans that's what drives me, from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. I think that's the most important national security objective we should have. We need to bring home all Americans, soldiers from never-ending conflict. But see, when you go from the left to voting for President Trump, they can't touch you because you basically gave them all the finger, and you know the dirty laundry, you know the skeletons in their closet. So, and you don't care what they think. If you're on the left, then your image or your existence is always threatened or disparaged, or like you're in their world. I'm no longer in their world. I don't care. That's why I'm the biggest Hillary Clinton supporter on the internet. Are you kidding me? And then people are going to pretend, oh, what? Oh, this is the left, the far left. What? Clinton again? Oh, what? As if Biden is better. Clinton is better than Biden. Like, for the country, I would say. Well, not really. Probably. Probably not really. I don't know. They're both horrendous. Probably not. Maybe. No, definitely not. No, not at all. Jimbo, Angela, thank you. Like they when Trump wins again, do you understand? It's gonna be so amazing. Oh my God, it's gonna be amazing. I'm divorcing you. That's just one repercussion. You will see divorces of couples that are both Democrats. That's how they roll. Your friend is a Trumper. Your brother is your sister is a Trumper. You know how the best way to just not listen to them is divorcing you. That would be a good way to end this dysfunctional marriage. We just came back from vacation. Well, actually, nobody would be going on vacation. What are you talking about? We just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. And it's 20 years too long with a Trumpist like you. It's going to be gold. Do you understand? It's going to be amazing. Yan Sun Long, hello. It's going to be amazing. They're not going to even know, they're not going to even know, they're not going to even know how to react. And Wally Pop, hello. Oh, you're great, Wally Pop. You're awesome. Thank you. They're not going to even know, like, you know what? Let me see if I could do this. Twitter meltdowns. What are the best Twitter, the happiest and saddest of the U.S. election? Okay, so here. What? Congratulations to Donald Trump on winning the U.S. presidential election, Vladimir Putin. Wait, I don't even know. This is reality. Wait, okay. These are horrendous. Like one I can't even read. Oh my God. You know what? It's not even funny. It's so bad they're not even funny. It's so like salty and angry and hold on one second. This is Newsweek, so let's see. The moment liberals knew Trump won. 24 horrified quotes, pictures, and tweets that capture and they still haven't. I mean, it's. So hold on one second. These are not even funny. A lot of these I can't even say on. It's just pure like anger and profanity. Whatever. All right, so let's see. This is utterly terrifying. That's one. Record low unemployment. Utterly terrifying. Oh my God. So horrible. Utterly terrifying. First Step Act. Lowered prescription drug executive order. This is utterly terrifying. This is utterly terrifying. So I'm trying to I'm trying to find, you can't. Then you get this, the wonderful, so if it's a rigged system, he'll be stepping down if elected, right? No, the point is he won despite it being rigged. My God. Scarier than Trump being president? The fact so many Americans agree with him. Or the fact so many Americans don't understand why he became president. The most qualified in the world runs for president against the worst man in the world, and this is what happens. Well, actually, then maybe that actually wasn't the case. That's also a possibility. This is hilarious. This is so hilarious. Every tweet is like, we are about to elect a horrible, megalomaniacal, horrible. You know why he was elected? Because he wasn't all of those things. At worst, he's belligerent and brash. That's it. So, yeah, this is not. That was just shock. When President Trump wins again, it's going to be a lot more than. It's going to be 4 years will have been wasted for Democrats. Angela Goodwin. We also played, but the Dems are the foolish fools. Angela, thank you. Angela, everybody here. The interesting thing is when this is like also like a lack of basic logic, Angela, and everybody. Have you heard this? Have you like this is like a lack of basic logic? They're like, we elected the worst person of all time. Well, no, we didn't. The problem is you think he is. This is the issue. The issue with them, like the issue with the way they perceive President Trump is only through the absurd vantage point that Russia wanted him, which all the information that we have points to Russia not caring about what Democrats do at all, from the uranium deal to Russia's its own interventions in Ukraine or Georgia. Like nothing was done. Did Bush? Bush did nothing. Let me see. George W. Bush describes going fishing with Putin. So Bush is allowed to go fishing with Putin. But my God, when Trump, he didn't, clothesline Putin. And, it wasn't like, Macho Man Randy Savage from the top turnbuckle and then Russia invaded Georgia 10 years ago. Don't say America didn't respond. It didn't respond. This is written by Condoleezza Rice. So obviously she's trying to... It didn't respond. What did it do? Nothing. Nothing militarily. Nothing. Nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, it's. Let's look what they're trying to say about Kanye. Kanye 2020. So they're all insulting him. I can't even read some of this. They're just insulting him with words I can't even use. That's the good, honest, righteous left. The imbeciles who think that Russia stole the election from them. He gets on the New York ballot, people, and it's game, set, match. I'm telling you that the ball game he gets on the New York ballot, it's game over. It's game over. No, a grift is blaming Russia for the election loss. That's a grift. A grift is not, this is what the left, it's funny, the left doesn't get this. A grift is not going from the left to Trump. A grift is staying in the left and blaming Russia for your loss. That's where the money is. You don't make money with Make America Great Again merchandise. This is like, they don't get what a grift is, like millions in venture capital claiming you're for Medicare for all. That's what the grift is about. They don't understand what a grift is because they're so used to getting grifted. Person who goes from a Bernie supporter or somebody on the left, a lifelong Democrat like myself, a great many lifelong Democrats who are voting for President Trump, that's not a deceptive act. That's not a grift. Okay? If you're on the left and you want to make money, then you promote the fact that he withheld military assistance, which didn't happen. There was no direct evidence of that. Just to go after Biden, because, Biden, is pure as the driven snow. And, of course, he didn't engage in his own quid pro quo. The grift is saying that we should impeach a president for 2 allegations that have nothing to do with the criminal act. That's where the grift is. That's where you're deceiving people. The grift is retweeting the Lincoln Project or whatever. Not what I did. So, whatever. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They think, like, people on the left are like, oh, H.A. Badman, he became a Trump supporter, because of the money. Oh, yes, it's so lucrative supporting President Trump. I mean, I thank God I have my Patreon and my my Super Chat, but I had, like, I was doing okay on the left, doing okay when I became a Trump supporter, but not nearly as much money, because when I was on the left, I was like, wait a second, this whole thing with the Steele dossier is horrible, and they cheated Bernie Sanders. This thing's messed up. So nobody really, loved me when I was on the left. So it's not like you make more money becoming a Trump supporter. You actually, like, if you want more money, the lucrative angle is to say that Trump worked with Russia, that Trump is a racist, and oh my God, that's like money like falling from the sky. Are you kidding? That's where the grift is. But whatever. See, they don't even... The left is so open to deceptive tactics that they don't realize when deceptive tactics are being used against them. They don't really see it. But I'm trying to find out, like... all of this. I'm trying to find out what they're saying about Kanye. And... Jeanette, thank you. I'm trying to find out what they're saying about Kanye. And you look, and it's like, ooh, Elon Musk, the left is losing the middle big time. Big time. Big time. You have Elon Musk saying this. It is true. It is true. It makes sense. There's no way they win the election. But there's a possibility with Clinton. There's no possibility with Biden. No possibility at all. So it's like, I'm trying to look here, and everyone's just like, so Kanye 2020 top, let's see. They're trying to disparage. They're trying to disparage him. And that's the thing. Like, if you try to hurt him or disparage him or demean him, it only hurts you. It only hurts you. It doesn't hurt Kanye West. Kanye is like Trump. You can't really hurt him at all. You could try to say something demeaning, but then at the end of the day, it doesn't really Here, I really wish local reporters would stop showing up to Kanye 2020 campaign event. I'm not a psychiatrist, but Kanye looks like a man in a great deal of pain, and he's literally in tears right now. So why? No, he doesn't look like a man in a great deal of pain. He just happens to think differently from Democrats. Which, if let's say he was crying or saying certain things they don't like, and he was like, "You can't vote for Trump," my God, they would champion him They would demand people showed up to every campaign rally. But that's not the case. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much. Let's just look really quickly before we leave. So check out I have a great segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'll have a new one tomorrow, but my last segment is pretty important, so check that one out. Let's just look. Okay, so with Trump, they don't have any. Nice. Barr calls Russia scandal bogus. Says he acts nice. There you go. Look, let's read this. This is great. That'll be my first segment tomorrow. Barr calls Russia scandal bogus. Says he acts independently of Trump in blistering opening statement. Nice. Attorney General William Barr accuses congressional Democrats of seeking to discredit him because of his investigation into the origins of the FBI's Russia probe and a combative opening statement for Tuesday's hearing. Oh, that's right. So tomorrow is going to be huge. Oh, my goodness. So be here tomorrow. You know, I might do an earlier live stream. Tomorrow pertaining to William Barr and his testimony. So that's going to be really, really important. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. To my super chat, thank you. Everyone here, God bless. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for a great, awesome live stream. And I will see you all tomorrow. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. Subscribe to that, to my super chat. Thank you so very, very much. If you want to support my voice long term, ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment. If you want to be part of a newsletter, it's contactgoodman78 at gmail.com. And people, I will be back tomorrow, everyone. Thank you. Tomorrow is going to be a huge, huge day. So Cosmic Grandpa, thank you. I like it too. I think it's better. So I'll be doing these longer live streams. This is like a 2-hour live stream, so I'll be doing the longer live streams from now on instead of 2 separate ones in the evening. I might do a live stream earlier tomorrow, so it might be an upload or a live stream, but check it out. Nonetheless, I might do a live stream at around maybe 4 p.m. Pacific or so. So 3 or 4 p.m. Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to my super chat. Thank you. Wally Pop! Kitten says to Rabbit. Nice! Wally Pop, thank you. Wally Pop, yes. That is fantastic. Wally Pop, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, Wally Pop, thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow, everyone. God bless. To my super chat, thank you so very much. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, people. November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.